Not moving. I used to be working as a user experience designer, and these were my most trusted and powerful weapons. Being young IT savvy crowd, I'm sure some of you would know what these softwares are, right? So I used to travel from JP Nagar to Whitefield to an IT company and spend a long time doing a lot of interesting work related to design with the web. Actually, I'm not educated to be in the IT industry at all. I studied something called as tool and die making, which was a mechanical engineering stream. So how did I get into IT? Basically, I was always interested in the arts. I still remember, it was April 10th, 1991. And what happened on April 10th is the result of our school, right? I go to my school, I pick up my marks card, my teacher gives me some inputs on what I had done well, not done well, and things like that. I'm so happy I'm running around in the school because I'm so thrilled that April 11th to May 31st. So I meet a parent of my classmate. She stops me and asks me, why am I so excited? I mean, she's not used to seeing me excited on a result day because I'm never supposed to be very studious in a high school student. So I tell her it's holidays from tomorrow, I'm excited. She asks me, what is your score? 74. Come on, Jayanth, that's not a score to make you get excited. And I just see my friend, in fact, her daughter, she's very upset. So I asked her what happened. She's not somebody who would flunk. She's a very bright student, always amongst the top few. So she's upset. I asked her what's wrong. She says, I didn't get 100 in math. So I was a kid. I always grew up learning something called as, it's a Sanskrit saying, so don't kill me if I mention it. It says, Sangeeta Sahitya Kala Vidhinaha Sakshat Vashuhu Uccha Vishana Hinaha. I'm not sure how many of you chose Sanskrit to get high scoring marks, but I chose the same not for that, but because I had a history and background of Sanskrit. My grandparents were priests. So what it means basically is, if there's a human being who is not interested in arts, literature, music, or any form of such passions in life, then they are probably beasts without a tail. Okay? So I grew up in an environment where this is what I did. So some of the funny things I used to do when I was in school was, dramatics. I used to be in music. I used to win a lot of prizes for everything else apart from being the first in class. But it really mattered because I didn't have a home where getting 90% was the most important thing. Because my dad was an artist, my mom was into music, and a lot of other things happened at home. Among so many such interests I had, photography was one small okay. My dad happens to be a very popular commercial photographer in Mysore, so photography was in the house, in the profession, and I was wondering why you're laughing. But somewhere photography happened as a kid to me. I had access to great camera equipment, we had a studio, and I grew along with photography without knowing how interesting it can be for everybody. For me, it was not a passion as a kid, but it was one of the things I used to do. While I grew up, the subject changed from beautiful girls to beautiful wild animals and birds. My photography interest grew at length and size proportionate to myself. My equipment grew proportionately, and I started getting involved in photography very deeply. So this happened in the mid 2003-2004 era when I used to be in the IT. I had access to infrastructure, I had access to knowledge which was shared online, internet. I had my father's legacy, equipment, cameras, knowledge, and I had a passion for wildlife. So I started traveling every month. So I made trips all over the world. I visited a lot of places, and I'm still doing it. So somewhere I became a master of one particular skill, which was this. Anybody knows what this is? This is what you guys do on the computer, Alt-Tab. I used to be sitting in an IT company, chatting with people about cameras, equipment, where to go, what to do, what animals found where. Whenever I used to see somebody near me, Alt-Tab. So, not that I was not interested in what I was doing as a job. I was very, very passionate. I came into IT because I liked what I did as a designer, as a creative person. But somewhere, photography was growing as a devil inside me, and it was all ready to devour me. I remember it was in the mid-2005, sometime in 2006 maybe. My boss, right, comes to me and sees, in Kannada, he tells me, hey, not Karbala. So he tells me not to do the alt tag because he knows I'm doing something else. Then I confess everything to him and he says, I know what you're interested in. Why not do this as a full-time thing? If you like this so much, why do you have to drive 23 kilometers through traffic and come and sit here and try and act like you're working? Though I was not actually acting like I was working, but what he made a big dent in my mind. I started thinking, and it took not more than a year before I decided it was time to quit. And incidentally, during this time, I started traveling so much. I started participating in contests, and I won some awards, I won some recognition in a lot of publications which used to feature my photographs. So there was a sharp rise in my photography career, rather a hobby which became a career. So I started getting a lot of recognition and winning laurels, and it was time for me to think about it seriously. So depending on what was happening with my IT background, I realized I could get out of it and try and explore new possibilities in photography. One fine day, I went to Mysore, where my parents lived, and I told my mom, I'm serving my notice period. She was very proud of me wearing a badge, which was the world's 50th best brand. I don't want to mention the brand, but she was very, very happy of me being there, and they used to be very proud parents. But suddenly I come home and say, I've quit my job, I'm serving my notice period, and my parents were devastated. They were very disappointed. But then my father related to why I had done that. It took a little while for them to stop shedding tears, quite literally, and they agreed that I'll give myself a couple of years to experiment and try what I wanted to do. So what did I do? I started traveling again, started traveling more, started earning more cash. Then, since I love to teach photography, I started conducting workshops, photography-based tours across the world, and things started falling into place. So in the end of 2009, it was already a couple of years of my struggle as a freelance photographer, I envisioned a client who was me 5 years before. So who is this client? He's a client who is interested in photography, who is interested in travel. So he's a guy who is ready to travel to get pictures back. So I co-founded a company called TOEHOLD, along with a few very passionate people. And we came up with a new company, which is called TOEHOLD Travel and Photography today. So what does TOEHOLD mean? TOEHOLD is nothing but a small support for a climber to go to greater heights. So it's something which I use, or rather we use in our company today. So today, my work involves traveling to a lot of places in the country, conducting workshops, going out of country to many places where there are interesting wildlife places. I'm personally a natural history photographer, though I have colleagues who also travel to non-wildlife destinations. I like to shoot wildlife, so I promote this, and I also am very passionate about a few things which I heard from Dr. Sudarshan, which is conservation and things like that. Though I don't call myself somebody who's into conservation, but I promote it as much as I can. So, as a business, this is doing very well now, and I've been starting to travel to a lot of new places which I was only imagining and dreaming. So, I would like to show you a few things. This is something which is my workstation right now. I'm sure some of you have similar interests in life. Let me show you some of the interesting places I've been to. For instance, this is a polar bear walking on sea ice on the Hudson Bay. It's trying to see if the sea ice has started to form by checking out how strong it is for it to venture deep into the sea. So it's an aerial shot taken from a helicopter. A very unique shot of a sub-adult lion in the Serengeti, shot using a remote triggered camera. So it was very interesting. Otherwise I wouldn't be here to tell you the story. So it took 2 days to envision the shot and also find a subject which would be not a big adult who is not at all interested in life, nor a very little cub which is very frightened to leave its mother, but a young teenage lion who was inquisitive to leave his mother, at the same time explore it. So it was an interesting shot and very passionate photograph for me, because it took 2 days of waiting in the field and finally transpired. Another interesting scene from the Serengeti, courting leopards. The female is in the air. She's trying to seduce the boy in air who's not interested. Like always. Another Masai Mara scene, which is a postcard scene on the evenings in Masai Mara, a very majestic elephant walking across the horizon. Actually, I think it's Amboseli, sorry. It's Amboseli, which is very close to Mara, but in a different country. Am I right? No, it's in Kenya. Sorry about that. So, this is a picture from the Arctic, again in the Hudson Bay area. Two polar bears sparring, not because they're fighting, because they want to keep themselves fit for the long and hostile winter which is up to come very soon. So, these are some of the interesting moments which I go through 10 to 15 days a month on the field, and it's an exciting life I'm leading compared to what I was doing in the past. This is something which happens in Brazil. Anybody knows what bird this is? These are macaws. This is a red and green macaw. You can't see the green because it's on the behind of the bird, but we are seeing the belly. They're flying on a sinkhole, and it's a very interesting exposure as a photographer if anybody is interested in exposures and photography. So, I just wanted to show you a few interesting things which happens to me on the field every day. This is again a polar bear in a place called Arctic in Svalbard. You know where Svalbard is? It's in the north of Europe, in Arctic. So, I want to ask you guys, why would anybody sit in the ID and work on softwares when they can read it like this? What do you guys think? Okay, the topic I want to tell you is not to inspire you to quit your jobs and try and do some adventurous things, but maybe think a little different. So what I started doing is, by the way, this is a bear in Kamchatka. It's in Russia. It's a very remote destination. It's actually fishing the salmon which comes there for every year during the breeding season. Anybody knows what is it called? The breeding season? Spawning of the salmon. Great. Okay, so another interesting creature, which was very close to the camera. It's a walrus in the Arctic again. So if you see over a period of time, I have visited so many places that I always dreamt of, which was not possible while I was sitting on the workstation. But if you think about it, well, these are some of my destinations which I wanted to boast about, but actually ask you a question after that. So, I actually stopped running a race because I was running it without knowing why. I actually stopped for a while and decided, why not go in this direction where I don't see many people going? Maybe it's interesting, maybe it can be adventurous, maybe there are a little pitfalls here and there, but then I'm going to enjoy it much more. Then, that is where I took this decision. But if you see today, I see a lot of people, in my company we have an opening for a travel photographer. It's been a while since the opening is hot. I get a lot of resumes from people who want to apply for the job. But if you see, 95% of them are employed in a different industry doing something else, but they want to be a photographer. So if I speak to many of them and understand, why are they not able to become a photographer yet? Why are they still stuck to some industry and doing something? It is because they want to be relieved on a Friday evening from their industry and join as a photographer on a Monday morning somewhere, which is never going to happen, right? So I have an opinion that people should take the initiative and stop doing what they are. That's where I relate to the theme of unlearning from the familiar, where you stop, if you want to do something else, I heard a lot of people say, I am doing this, I don't want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I'm studying this, I want to study that. So if you're doing something you're not interested in, why not take a break, stop it, and think about what you want to do next. But in my case, it's a little different. You all know what I used to do in the past, but today if you see, what I have done is used my core strengths as a user experience designer and adapted to my new interest, which was travel and photography. And today when I was speaking to my ex-boss saying, I'm going to quote you in the talk today, he or she was surprised to know. Why would I do that? Because I mentioned I'm using the same software even today, much more than I used to do when I was in the IT. How is that? Because today, I am actually using the same software to create work or designs or websites or advertisements for my own company, right? So I am not a guy who quit a job just because I didn't like doing what I was doing. I quit my job because I wanted to do something more than what I was doing, but I'm still using all my core strengths which I used to use in IT Even now, every day, in fact, yesterday I bought a CS6 legal version of Adobe Creative. So why would I do that if I'm not interested in what I was doing before? So guys, what I had to unlearn from my life was, whatever core skill you have as a professional, do not typecast into a particular industry and say, my strengths, my skills, and my knowledge will only work in IT, or will only work in medicine, or will only work in law. Every core skill you have can be used in any profession for that matter. And the biggest learning for me was to use my user experience design skills and adapt it to my industry, which is travel and photography. So today, I don't spend a penny on getting web designs from an outsourced company. Today, I don't spend a penny creating advertisement for my business. I am using my strength or core strength of software, IT, and user experience and design to make my business look more professional than what it can for somebody else who is just a photographer. Right? So I just want to probably shorten this talk by not talking too much. You guys know about photography and how interesting it is without me speaking much about. I just want to tell you guys that if you want to, love doing something, right? You have to make sure you stop doing something else and do whatever you love. So then whatever work you do, for that matter, is something which will fall in place, you'll start liking it, and you'll love what you do, so that you do what you love.